How often do you feel like there's just too much coming at you? Too many emails, too many messages, too many decisions to make in a single day. You wake up already feeling behind, and by the time you go to bed, your brain feels like it's been running a marathon. Why is it that even with all our modern tools, phones, apps, calendars, reminders, we still feel so overwhelmed? Shouldn't life be easier with all this technology? And yet, for many of us, it feels harder than ever to stay organized, focused, and clear. This is the problem Daniel Levitin tackles in his book, The Organized Mind: Thinking Straight in the Age of Information Overload. Levitin is a neuroscientist and musician who has spent his career studying how the brain handles information, and what he's discovered is simple but profound. Our brains are not built for the amount of data we face today. Thousands of years ago, our ancestors made only a handful of decisions each day: where to hunt, what to eat, how to stay safe. Today, the average person makes hundreds, even thousands of tiny choices before lunch. What to wear, what to reply to, what to check next, what to prioritize. Each decision takes mental energy, and eventually the brain gets tired. That's why we feel drained, even when we haven't done any heavy physical work. Levitin's message is clear. If we want to thrive in this age of information, we need to stop expecting our brains to do it all. Instead, we need to learn how to organize our minds and our lives in smarter ways. And that's what this book is about. It gives us the science of how the brain works: attention, memory, decision-making, and then it gives us practical tools for working with our brain, not against it. Tools for managing our focus, our time, our relationships, and even the spaces around us. In this episode, we're going to explore the key lessons from The Organized Mind and see how they apply to our daily lives. Here's the roadmap. First, we'll talk about the science of overload, why our brains get overwhelmed, and why multitasking doesn't work. Then we'll look at focus and attention, the brain's attentional filter, and how to protect it. Next, we'll see how to organize our environment, our homes, offices, and digital lives. After that, we'll move to organizing relationships and commitments, how to track obligations without stress. We'll explore organizing time, not just managing hours, but managing energy and priorities. Then we'll tackle organizing complex information and decisions, how to think clearly when choices are tough. And finally, we'll end with the bigger picture, how to live with clarity in a noisy world. By the end, you'll see that being organized is not about being perfect or doing more. It's about designing your life so that your brain can focus on what really matters. Because when you organize your mind, you don't just reduce stress, you create space for creativity, clarity, and peace. Part 1. The Science of Overload. We live in a time where information is everywhere. Think about your typical morning. The alarm rings, you grab your phone, and before you've even had breakfast, you've already seen emails, news updates, texts, notifications, maybe even scrolled through social media. That's dozens of inputs in the first hour of your day. And that's before you've even started work. Now here's the problem. The human brain wasn't built for this. Neuroscientists like Daniel Levitin remind us that our brains are wired for a simpler world. A world where information came slowly, decisions were fewer, and focus was easier. Our ancestors didn't check 200 emails a day. They didn't juggle dozens of small decisions before lunch. They made a handful of choices: where to find food, how to stay safe, who to trust. Their brains were perfectly suited for that. Ours still are. But today's world is different. We're asking our brains to handle far more than they were designed for. Let's break this down scientifically. First, attention. Attention is like a spotlight. It can shine brightly, but only on one thing at a time. When you try to multitask, what you're really doing is moving the spotlight quickly from one thing to another. Write an email, check a notification, glance at a text, go back to the email, hear a ping, switch again. Each switch burns energy. Each switch leaves a little residue of distraction behind. That's why at the end of the day, even if you didn't do heavy physical work, your brain feels tired. You've been burning fuel with every flip of attention. Studies show that after being interrupted, it can take over 20 minutes to fully return to your original level of focus. That means every time your phone pings, your brain pays a tax. Add that up over a day, and you see why overload feels so exhausting. Second, memory. Our working memory, the brain's short-term storage, is surprisingly small. Levitin explains it's like a tiny notepad that can only hold about 4 to 7 pieces of information at a time. That's it. Not dozens, not hundreds, just a handful. This is why you might remember a phone number for a few seconds, but forget it once you're distracted. Or why you walk into a room and forget why you went there. Your working memory filled up, and something slipped off the edge. Now think about how modern life overloads this system. Passwords, schedules, names, tasks, numbers. Our brains try to hold it all, but the notepad just isn't big enough. Without systems, things slip, and we blame ourselves. We think, why can't I remember? Why can't I keep up? But it's not a flaw in you, it's just how the brain works. Third, decision fatigue. Every choice you make, big or small, drains a little bit of your brain's energy. What to wear? What to eat? Which email to answer first? Which app to open? Psychologists call this decision fatigue. By the time you reach the afternoon, even small decisions feel heavy. That's why you grab junk food, skip the gym, or zone out with your phone. It's not because you're lazy. It's because your brain has burned through its decision-making energy. There's a reason why some leaders simplify their daily routines. Steve Jobs wore the same black turtleneck. Mark Zuckerberg often wears the same gray t-shirt. Barack Obama rotated only between blue or gray suits. They weren't being boring, they were saving decision energy. They didn't want to waste brain power on small choices, because they needed it for big ones. Here's the hidden cost of overload. When your brain is busy juggling hundreds of little things, it has less power for what really matters: the big decisions, the creative ideas, the deep work. That's why you might find yourself busy all day but not really moving forward. Your mental energy got drained on the small stuff. So let's pause here. What do we know so far? Your attention is limited. Multitasking is a myth. Every switch drains energy. 2. Your memory is small. The brain's notepad can only hold a handful of things at once. 3. Your decisions are costly. Every choice uses up brain power, leading to fatigue. Now combine these three, and you can see why modern life feels like overload. Emails, texts, news, tasks, deadlines, notifications, endless small decisions. It's like trying to pour a river into a teacup. The cup overflows. Daniel Levitin's point is simple. It's not your fault. You're not disorganized, forgetful, or lazy by nature. You're just using a brain designed for a simpler world in a very complex one. The problem isn't you, it's the overload. The good news is, once you understand this, you can start making changes. You can design systems, habits, and strategies that take the pressure off your brain, so you can focus on what really matters. And that leads us straight into the next part. If attention is limited, the question is, how do we protect it? How do we focus in a world designed to steal our attention every minute? Part 2. Focus and attention. If our brains are limited, then focus becomes one of the most valuable resources we have. Daniel Levitin calls this the brain's attentional filter, the system that decides what to notice, what to ignore, and where to place energy. The problem is, in today's world, that filter is constantly under attack. Think about your phone. Every ping, buzz, and vibration is designed to pull your attention. Every notification screams, "Look at me." Right now. Social media apps, emails, news alerts, they're all competing for the spotlight of your brain. And remember, your attention is like a flashlight. You can only shine it on one thing at a time. Here's what happens when you let distractions in. Your flashlight keeps moving. You start a task, then a notification steals the beam. You come back, but not with full strength. Studies show it can take over 20 minutes to fully return to the same depth of focus after an interruption. Imagine losing 20 minutes every time you check your phone. That's hours wasted each day. Levitin explains that multitasking is really just task switching. And switching has a cost. Each time you move your attention, your brain burns glucose and releases stress hormones. That's why after a day of constant multitasking, you feel mentally exhausted. It's not that you work too hard, it's that your brain paid a tax for every switch. So how do we protect our focus in a world of distractions? Let's talk about a few strategies. Number 1. Single tasking. It sounds simple, but it's powerful. Choose one task. Shut down everything else. No tabs, no notifications, no split screens. Give that one thing your full attention. Even 25 minutes of pure focus can be more productive than hours of scattered effort. Number 2. Control your environment. If your phone is always buzzing, of course you'll look at it. Silence notifications, or better yet, put the phone in another room when you need deep focus. If your email is always open, you'll always check it. Instead, set specific times to read and respond. Create an environment that supports focus, instead of fighting it. Number 3. Practice mindfulness. Focus is like a muscle. The more you practice bringing your attention back, the stronger it gets. Mindfulness exercises, even just 5 minutes of breathing, train the brain to notice distractions without being pulled away. Over time, your attentional filter gets stronger. Number 4. Prioritize energy, not just time. Your brain has peak hours when it can focus best. For many people, that's the morning. Protect those hours for your most important work. Don't waste your sharpest focus on email or scrolling. Use it for the tasks that really matter. Here's a story to make this clear. A writer once said, "I only write when inspiration strikes. Fortunately, it strikes every morning at 9 a.m. What did he mean? He meant he organized his life so that his best energy was protected for deep focus. He didn't wait for inspiration. He created the conditions for it. Levitin points out that the real challenge isn't that we lack focus. It's that we don't defend it. We give it away freely to every distraction. The brain's attentional filter is like a doorway. You have to guard it carefully. Decide what gets in and what stays out. So here's the big idea for part 2. Focus is a limited resource. If you want to think straight in the age of overload, you have to protect it fiercely. Shut out distractions. Train your attention. Save your best hours for your most important work. Because once you learn to guard your focus, you don't just get more done. You also feel calmer, clearer, and more in control. Part 3. Organizing your environment. If focus begins in the mind, it is also deeply shaped by the environment around us. Daniel Levitin reminds us that the spaces we live and work in have a huge impact on how clearly we think and how much stress we feel. Think about clutter. Walk into a room where papers are piled up, dishes are stacked, and random things are everywhere. Immediately, your brain feels a little heavier. Even if you're not touching the mess, your mind is processing it. It's scanning the objects, trying to decide what matters, what doesn't, and what needs your attention. This is called cognitive load. The more your eyes see, the more your brain has to juggle. Now imagine walking into a clean, simple room. A desk with just a notebook and pen. A kitchen counter with only what you need. Instantly, your brain feels lighter. You have more space to think. That's the power of an organized environment. Levitin explains that when we leave things lying around, we're basically outsourcing decisions to the future. A stack of papers means, I'll deal with this later. A messy closet means, I'll decide what to keep another time. The problem is, every time you see the clutter, your brain gets a little reminder that you still haven't decided. That constant background noise drains energy. So how do we fix this? The answer isn't perfection, it's creating systems. Number 1. A place for everything. Instead of keeping things somewhere, give each item a home. Keys by the door. Bills in a folder. Notes in a notebook. The brain relaxes when it knows where to find things. No more hunting for lost items, no more wasted attention. Number 2. Reduce choices. The fewer unnecessary items in your environment, the easier your decisions become. Think of your wardrobe. If it's stuffed with dozens of clothes you never wear, every morning becomes a small battle. What should I choose? But if you curate it to fewer, better options, the decision is easy, and your brain saves energy for bigger things. Number 3. Design for clarity. Organize your space so that what you need is visible and what you don't need is hidden. Keep healthy snacks on the counter and hide the junk food. Put your book on the nightstand, not your phone. Your environment should guide your focus toward what matters. Number 4. Apply it digitally. It's not just your physical space. Your digital environment also matters. Hundreds of desktop icons, thousands of unread emails, endless tabs open. This is digital clutter, and it weighs on the brain just like physical clutter. Create folders, archive old files, and keep your digital space as simple as possible. Here's an example. A professional once said he saved 5 hours a week just by creating a system for email. 3 folders, today, this week, and later. Instead of rereading the same messages 10 times, he sorted them once and followed up at the right time. The system freed his brain from the stress of remembering. Levitin's point is this. The brain is excellent at thinking, but it's not great at remembering endless details or managing clutter. That's why organization matters. The more you can put order into your environment, the more mental energy you free up for creativity, decision-making, and peace. So part 3 leaves us with a simple truth. Your environment is your silent partner in thinking. If it's cluttered, your mind feels cluttered. If it's clear, your mind feels clear. By creating systems and reducing clutter, you make space, not just on your desk, but in your brain. Part 4. Organizing relationships and social commitments. So far, we've talked about information, focus, and environment. But there's another area of life that creates constant overload: our relationships and commitments. Think about how many people you interact with regularly: family, friends, coworkers, clients, neighbors, online connections. Each one brings expectations, requests, and obligations. Call me back. Don't forget my birthday. Join this meeting. Help me with this project. The truth is, no matter how much we care, our brains cannot hold all of this in working memory. Remember, your mental notepad only has space for a handful of items at once. So when you try to track every obligation in your head, things slip. You forget to reply. You miss an appointment. or you wake up at 3 a.m. worrying about what you might have forgotten. Daniel Levitin says, "Stop relying on memory. Start relying on external systems." The smartest people don't try to keep it all in their heads. They use tools, calendars, lists, and reminders to take the weight off the brain. Here are some practical ways to organize your social world. Number 1. Use one trusted system. Don't scatter commitments across sticky notes, emails, and your head. Pick one central system, a planner, a digital calendar, or an app, and record every commitment there. This creates trust. When you know it's written down, your brain can relax. Number 2. Break big commitments into smaller ones. Plan the wedding is overwhelming. But book the venue. Send invitations. Choose menu. Those are manageable. Relationships get messy when we promise too much at once. Break it down and track each piece. Number 3. Create rituals for connection. Relationships thrive on regular attention, but without structure, we forget. Simple rituals: a Sunday call to your parents, a Friday check-in with your team, a monthly coffee with a friend, reduce the mental load of remembering. The ritual takes care of it for you. Number 4. Learn to say no. Part of organizing your commitments is protecting your limits. If you say yes to everything, your system will overflow. Saying no, kindly but firmly, is one of the best ways to keep your social world balanced. Here's a real-life example. A manager once said she used to keep all her team's requests in her head. People would stop her in the hallway, send quick messages, ask for help. She'd agree but then forget or remember at midnight or drop the ball. It created stress for everyone. Then she created a simple rule. Every request goes into one shared system. Nothing in her head, everything written down. The stress disappeared, not because there was less work, but because the system carried the weight. Levitin reminds us that the brain is great at creativity, empathy, and problem solving. But it's terrible at remembering dozens of obligations. Free your brain by organizing your commitments externally. And there's another benefit. When you're not constantly worrying about what you've forgotten, you can be more present with the people you're with. Instead of half listening while mentally checking your to-do list, you can actually connect. And isn't that the real purpose of relationships? So part 4 leaves us with this. Don't rely on memory for commitments. Create systems. Use calendars, reminders, and rituals. Protect your energy by saying no when needed. When you do this, relationships stop being a source of stress and become a source of support. Part 5. Organizing time. Of all the things we try to organize, time may be the hardest. You can tidy your desk, file your emails, or put your commitments into a calendar, but time itself never stops. The clock keeps ticking. That's why Daniel Levitin says, managing time isn't really about hours, it's about managing energy and priorities. Think about this. Everyone gets the same 24 hours. Yet some people seem to get so much done while others feel constantly behind. What makes the difference? It's not the amount of time, it's how you use it. Here's the first truth. Not all hours are equal. Your brain has natural rhythms. For many people, the morning is the peak of focus. That's when you can do deep work, solve problems, and create. By afternoon, energy dips. By evening, you may be able to do lighter tasks, but not heavy thinking. If you spend your sharpest hours on email or chores, you waste your best energy. If you save those hours for your most important work, you multiply your results. So how do you organize your time more effectively? Number 1. Protect your peak hours. Figure out when your energy is highest, morning, afternoon, or night. Block those times for your most important work. Treat them as sacred appointments with yourself. Number 2. Batch small tasks. Instead of scattering small tasks throughout the day, group them together. Answer emails in 2 or 3 blocks instead of constantly checking. Make phone calls back to back. This reduces switching costs and keeps your focus strong. Number 3. Plan tomorrow today. At the end of each day, spend a few minutes writing down your top 3 priorities for tomorrow. That way, you start the next day clear and focused instead of scattered. Number 4. Use external reminders. Don't rely on memory to manage your schedule. Use calendars, alarms, and reminders. Remember, every choice you offload to a system saves decision energy. Number 5. Leave white space. This may sound surprising, but one of the best ways to manage time is not to fill it completely. Leave space for thinking, rest, and unexpected events. An overstuffed schedule collapses the moment something changes. A balanced one flexes. Here's a story. A CEO once said he schedules thinking time on his calendar, 2 hours a week where no one can book a meeting. During that time, he reflects, writes, and plans. He said it was the most valuable block of his week because it allowed him to step back from the noise and see the bigger picture. Without that, he would just react all the time. Levitin's point is that our brains work best when we align tasks with energy, not just time. If you organize your schedule around when you can give your best focus and you protect that time, you'll achieve more with less stress. So part 5 leaves us with this. Time management is energy management. Use your peak hours for deep work. Batch small tasks, plan ahead, and leave white space. When you do, time stops feeling like a constant enemy and starts becoming a tool you can actually work with. Part 6. Organizing complex information and decisions. So far, we've looked at everyday organization, focus, environment, commitments, and time. But there's another challenge that overwhelms the modern mind: making big, complex decisions. Think about it. Should I change jobs? Should I move to a new city? Which investment should I make? How do I choose the best school for my child? These decisions aren't simple. They involve lots of moving parts, conflicting priorities, and information that can feel endless. Daniel Levitin explains that our brains are not naturally good at holding complex information in place. Remember the notepad, 4 to 7 items at once. But big decisions often involve dozens of factors. If you try to juggle it all in your head, you'll quickly feel paralyzed. That's why people get stuck, procrastinate, or make snap choices they later regret. The solution is to externalize the complexity. Don't try to keep it in your brain. Put it out where you can see it, organize it, and work with it. Here are a few strategies. Number 1. Write it all down. When faced with a big decision, dump everything onto paper or a digital tool. Facts, pros, cons, questions, feelings. Getting it out of your head clears mental space and reduces anxiety. Number 2. Categorize. Group the information. Instead of a jumble of 20 random points, organize them into themes. For example, financial factors, emotional factors, practical factors. This turns chaos into clarity. Number 3. Compare systematically. Instead of asking which option feels right, ask which option scores higher on the factors that matter most to me. Creating a simple table with weights and scores can reveal patterns you didn't see emotionally. Number 4. Recognize trade-offs. No big decision is perfect. Each option has costs. Organizing the information helps you see what you're willing to give up and what you're not. This makes the decision more conscious and less emotional. Number 5. Slow down the process. Big decisions deserve time. By externalizing and organizing, you give yourself space to reflect, not just react. Sometimes clarity comes simply from looking at the information in a more structured way. Here's an example. Imagine you're deciding between two jobs. One pays more but requires long hours. The other pays less but offers flexibility and growth. In your head, you keep flipping back and forth. More money but less time. More balance but less pay. Stress builds. Now imagine you write everything down. Under Job A, you list salary, hours, commute, growth potential, culture. Under Job B, you do the same. You categorize financial, lifestyle, growth. Suddenly, the trade-offs are clear. You can weigh them calmly. Instead of endless mental loops, you see the picture. Levitin's point is that complexity becomes manageable when you organize it outside your head. The brain is great at making judgments, but it's terrible at juggling dozens of facts at once. So free it. And there's another benefit. When you externalize information, you make it easier to get advice. You can show someone else your notes, your categories, your trade-offs. They can see what you see and maybe add perspectives you missed. So part 6 leaves us with this. When life gets complicated, don't keep it in your head. Write it, sort it, and structure it. Once the chaos is on the page, your brain is free to do what it does best. Think clearly, weigh options, and make good choices. Part 7. Final Thoughts. We've now journeyed through Daniel Levitin's The Organized Mind, Thinking Straight in the Age of Information Overload. What started as a book about neuroscience has given us a set of practical lessons for living with more clarity in today's noisy, overloaded world. Let's step back and recap what we've learned. In Part 1, The Science of Overload, we saw that our brains are limited. Attention is narrow, memory is small, and every decision uses energy. Overload isn't weakness, it's biology. In Part 2, Focus and Attention, we learned that multitasking is a myth, and every switch costs us clarity. Protecting our focus is one of the most valuable skills in the modern age. In Part 3, Organizing Your Environment, we discovered that clutter, physical or digital, drains the brain. Creating systems and simplifying our spaces frees up energy for thinking and peace. In Part 4, Organizing Relationships and Commitments, we saw that the brain can't hold endless obligations. External systems like calendars, rituals, and saying no help us manage relationships without stress. In Part 5, Organizing Time, we realized that time management is really about energy management. Protect your peak hours, batch small tasks, and leave white space for thinking. In Part 6, Organizing Complex Information and Decisions, we learned that big choices feel overwhelming when we keep them in our heads. Writing them down, categorizing, and structuring the information makes the impossible manageable. Taken together, these lessons form one simple truth. The brain is brilliant, but it was never designed to carry the weight of modern life alone. If we want clarity, we must create systems around us, systems that help us filter information, protect focus, simplify environments, track commitments, manage time, and structure complex decisions. And here's the deeper message. Being organized is not about perfection. It's not about having a spotless desk or a flawless calendar. It's about reducing the unnecessary noise so your brain can do what it does best. Think, create, connect, and decide. Organization is not the end goal. The end goal is peace of mind. So here's my challenge to you. Choose one area of your life to organize this week. Maybe it's your digital clutter, clearing your inbox or your desktop. Maybe it's your schedule, blocking your best hours for deep work. Maybe it's your environment, creating a clear space for thinking. Or maybe it's a big decision you've been carrying in your head, finally writing it down and organizing the facts. Pick just one, do it. Notice how much lighter your mind feels. Then, slowly, bring these lessons into more areas. Over time, you'll discover that clarity is not about doing more. It's about thinking better, focusing smarter, and giving your brain the space to breathe. So remember Daniel Levitin's lesson: an organized mind is a free mind. And a free mind is one that can create, connect, and live with peace in the middle of life's overload.